Colin, 62. Over 40 years driving everything from box vans, to HGVs, right across Europe.
There's no kind way to put this. Colin is disengaged, bored and clinically obese. In his mind, he's the best HGV driver on the road, by a country mile. Colin can be best described as lethargic.
Alright, I'm Ben, I'm 18. I'm currently living at home with my mum, but mostly I'm in the gym or out with my mates.
Ben, an apprentice fitter, only passed his driving test a couple of months ago and hasn't driven much since. Keen to impress his new boss, he's volunteered to deliver some parts to a colleague on site, in his mum's car, without her knowing. Ben's mood is nervous.
Hi, I'm Gina. I live at home with my cat Lilo. When I'm not working, I'm usually at kickboxing club or working on my side hustle.
Gina's driving skill is good. She travels up and down the country constantly. She's highly motivated and is working her way up through the business. Gina's had a number of hands-free conference calls already today on her work phone. Her primary focus is work. Gina can be described as overconfident.
Hello, my name is Nimal. I am 35 years old. When I was younger, I used to play hockey and cricket.
Nimal works alone, often driving for more than 10 hours a day. He only gets paid when he delivers on time. He's recently split from his partner and is currently sleeping on his brother's sofa. He's in a very dark place mentally. Nimal is depressed and agitated.
Hey, my name is Boba. I'm 40 years young. I don't have much time for hobbies. I like working and making money.
Slobodan first came to the UK 11 years ago to earn better money than he could back home. His hard work has paid off, and he's a supervisor and facilities management technician for a logistics company. There's a generous performance bonus, but the targets are stretching. Slobodan always exceeds the targets. He's a million miles an hour kind of guy. Slobodan's mood is impatient.
Not on the telly tonight.
Blimey, motorways are intense. Hope my mum doesn't spot the car's gone.
There's a big fat bonus heading my way.
I hate this job. I hate my life.
Come on, get out of the way. I've got places I need to be.
Motorways are
There's a big
intense.
fat bonus
Out of the
heading
way.
my way.
I hate this job.
Places I need to be.
I hate my life.
Yes, you join me now on the bridge just above what can only be described as an horrific crash, which the emergency services are saying is one of the worst they've seen in a very long time. I am currently stood above the motorway, which is closed, with a 5-mile tarmac in both directions, and that's to allow the air ambulance to land. I can see at least 5 vehicles which have been moved to the hard shoulder, and the emergency services are seeing to the people involved. Sadly, despite perfect weather conditions today, this incident just goes to show that on any road, any day, at any moment, such an accident can happen. Julie Maddox reporting for Radio DFBB. It's back to you in the studio.
Nimal walked away from the incident with no injuries, but his vehicle was damaged, leaving him with no way to do his job. He parted company with the employer. Nimal has a new role in a warehouse for a supportive employer, where he's taking advantage of their welfare service to help with his mental well-being. Colin suffered some minor physical injuries, but he was deeply affected by the amount of damage his truck did to other vehicles. He struggled to sleep and was ultimately diagnosed with sleep apnea, forcing him to surrender his license on medical grounds. His employer has found him an off-road role. His recovery is ongoing. The incident left Gina with light injuries, resulting in a couple of weeks off work. Caught by dashcam evidence to be using a mobile phone at the time of the collision, she received 6 points and a driving ban due to totting up. Gina is still working for the vending machine company and hopes to be back on the road once her ban is served. Ben wasn't physically hurt in the incident, but his mum's car was a write-off. He got 6 points on his licence when it became clear he didn't have permission to use the car, or insurance. As a new driver, that was enough for him to lose his licence, and consequently his apprenticeship too. He's currently working as a barista in his local coffee shop. Slobodan suffered life-changing injuries in the incident. Unsecured equipment in the back of his van struck his neck and shoulder, causing an 80% loss of motor skills on his entire left side. Despite ongoing rehabilitation, he's been medically retired by his company, and it's likely he will struggle to make ends meet going forward. Police investigations are ongoing, and they are interviewing both the drivers and their employers as they seek to understand what happened and who might be to blame. What do you think? As a leader, a policymaker, a fleet manager, a colleague, or as a friend, who will you influence? Be the change. It's personal. All of us have the power to affect change, whether it's to lead, enforce, advise, prescribe, act or show, whether we make vehicles safer, drivers better, or by allowing drivers to concentrate on the task at hand. We must be the change.
We'll all hear about car, van and truck crashes every day. But vehicles don't crash, people crash. They just happen to be in a car, van or truck at the time. Statistically, 5 people will die on our roads today. Statistically, 50 to 60 people will be seriously injured, many with life-changing injuries. But they're not statistics. That's 5 families devastated. They're not statistics. They're someone's mom, dad, son, daughter, brother, sister. They're your neighbour, your colleague at work, your mate down the pub. And it's simply unacceptable. But we can do something about this. I want each of us to find the enthusiasm to start driving change in our own organisations, with our colleagues, our friends and family. And it's not just about your own fleet. You may be running a good car, van or truck fleet. But what about your supply chain, your contractors, etc.? I'm always puzzled by the number of organisations who have mature, robust health and safety commitments and processes, and who manage risk within their offices, construction sites, production and storage facilities really well, but don't seem to get that their moral and indeed legal responsibilities extend to the road. Health and safety legislation is very clear. It's clear that your duties, both at a corporate and a personal level, extend to all areas of activity, and they're equally clear that they extend to your suppliers, contractors and supply chain. And that's where we can really make a difference. So many vehicles are driven for work. Over half of all registered vehicles in the UK are driven for work in some capacity. And if you looked at any busy piece of motorway during a normal working day, it would likely be that more than 60, 70, 80% of vehicles are being driven for work. And the point is, if they're being driven for work, we can influence choices and behaviours in exactly the same way as we would in any other area of our operations. So let's use our positions to influence and mandate behaviours and choices through our employer-employee relationships, through our contractual relationships with suppliers and contractors and supply chains. We should, could and must drive change together. The call to action, the clarion call, is clear. Manage your own fleet, including your grey fleet, brilliantly. Engage with your procurement team to ensure the suppliers, contractors and supply chain are in absolutely no doubt about their responsibilities and your expectations. Inspire your health and safety colleagues to apply their talent, expertise and energy to road risk across your organisation, including supply chain. And we, as National Highways, the Commercial Vehicle Incident Prevention Team and Driving for Better Business, are simply here to help. This is the start of a journey. Come with us.